Alright, so I just did my 1-inch tick marks, and now I'm connecting those with my ruler. So I get my vertical lines for my grid. I'll show you how to do those tick marks on the horizontal side right now. So you see the image isn't exactly a perfect 4 inches, so I just kind of offset my 0 and my 4 slightly. So I'm going to make my tick marks on the 1, 2, 3. Same thing over here, just slightly offset your 0 and your 4 because it's not a perfect 4-inch picture there. Mark the 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to connect those tick marks as well. Because this is our reference image, please go dark with those lines. Alright, so now I am using my paper for my final draft. This paper is 8 by 10 inches, so it is double the size of your reference image. I said to draw the lines dark on the reference image, but now that we're on our final draft paper, you really want to draw these lines nice and lightly because you will be erasing them later. So I'm marking my tick marks on the 2, 4, 6, 8. And now I'm going to connect those lines. So now that I've made my vertical grid lines, I'm going to do the process on the sides here for the horizontal. 2, 4, 6 on this side. Remember, nice and light because we want to erase these later. Same thing on this side. 2, 4, 6. Here comes the fun part. Now we're going to take our reference image and we're going to draw it twice as big on our final draft paper. So you can see I'm starting in this top left corner of my grid, and I'm paying attention to the curve of the beak, but I'm also paying attention to the background that is around the beak. Down here I'm noticing that the beak kind of goes down to the corner of this second grid here on the left side. I'm not too concerned about getting every detail right now. I'm really just trying to get my shapes in the correct space. This is pencil. We can always erase, we can always change it. So I'm just trying to notice the curve of the beak right here. The important thing to remember when you're doing a grid drawing is to actually use the grids. So the whole point of doing a grid drawing is that to draw just a realistic animal just with nothing would be really tough to do. But when we break it up into small little squares, all of a sudden it becomes a lot easier. Each square probably only has a handful of lines in it. So as I'm working on this beak here, it may seem like I'm moving really fast and I'm kind of flowing from one square to the next, but I really am trying to think about this as one square at a time. My eye is kind of constantly going from my picture to my drawing, from my picture to my drawing. It's this kind of process where you're always looking back and forth between your reference image and then what your pencil is actually drawing. This is a point in the drawing where you don't need to get too bogged down in details. I'm really just focused on the outlines or any contour lines that I see. I'm not trying to get every feather perfectly in place. Alright, and now just a little bit of fast motion here to finish this up. Once you have your image locked in place, then you can erase the grid. And then just go over some of your lines with a little bit of Sharpie. That'll set us up for next week.